Woohoo!
I was like, you're muted.
Yeah.
I actually like that song. I like the beat to that one. I'm just like, you guys can't see me when the video's playing, but like I'm down below, like
It helps you get
like
into it, man.
I
Get
do.
ready for the
Yeah,
show.
I like to pick songs for things that like get me into it. Make the stank face. I
Right.
make the stank face with it.
Right.
How are you, Ark?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I think I have a little bit of a cold going on, but part of my life mission as of yesterday has been fulfilled. If I can get the other half of it, we shall see about that. Fingers crossed. But I got to meet. This is so funny. People that don't know me won't even realize this isn't a Tupperware container because I'm trying to keep it as fresh as possible
Keep
until
it
I can get it in a
forever.
resin base. So this is an
Vacuum. You should
autograph.
vacuum seal it.
Right. Yeah, someone said if I vacuum seal it, it'll blow it up and make it bigger too.
Oh,
So this is a marshmallow that is autographed by Tara Strong. If you don't know Tara Strong, she probably did a voice on one of the cartoons in your childhood. She's been in over 150. She has over 150 different characters. So from Rugrats to Teen Titans Go to even Mortal Kombat, My Little Pony. Tara Strong.
Mortal Kombat.
So yeah, so I went in there. I brought sabers. I brought her a T-shirt. I brought her chopsticks. I brought a whole bunch of business cards and other things. I got her this crocheted Miss Minutes and like 10
Oh, that's
pins
so cute.
of
Specs E
characters.
says saw that earlier on Facebook. So awesome, dude.
Thank you. So yeah, and
That's
we have
really, really cool.
up on that shelf. There's an autographed Raven by Tara Strong. So I'm a huge Tara. She was in Ted
That's
as
cool.
well.
Well, I guess my week was kind of busy for those. So I had back to school night because I had two kids that started back to school, and it was the first time they're at two different schools now.
Right.
Hi, Wesley. How did she like the plushie? He asked.
Yeah, she loved it actually. Yeah, Wesley was there when I actually bought it. It was at FragCon in Reno when we went out to do that con with Five Titans, and I found this little crocheted
cool.
plushie. She absolutely loved it. So hopefully, and like they were trying to push me on because you only get like a few minutes with her. What is up, Aaron?
Hi, Aaron.
You only get a few minutes with her, so I was like, when I dumped out the pins, she has this thing where if you give her a pin, she gives you a free autograph. So I told her, I was like, look, I already paid for my autographs. All I want is 20 minutes of your time, and of course 20 would be expanded into 40. But I was like, I just want 20 minutes of your time. Not now. This is over the internet, and the people from Sac Anime are trying to get me pushed along. So I included a whole bunch of business cards. Hopefully, she feels so guilty with all the crap that I got her that she actually has somebody
Bribing her.
whatever it takes to get that interview.
Well, my week was mostly filled for my oldest had some minor oral surgery on Thursday. Unfortunately, he has gotten most of my issues when it comes to some things, and teeth is one of it. He's now had 5 teeth pulled so far. So this one was 1 tooth pull, and then he has 2 teeth up here that are sideways. They exposed them and stuff, and had stitches and everything. And so he's on soft foods for like another week, and he hates it. Like, sure, he likes pudding, but he just wants to go ahead and eat pizza. Like. So he's frustrated. Plus, the worst, I guess, is he hates the warm salt water rinses. He's hating on those a lot.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, he could do a lot worse. He does just hate it. But guess what's time for?
Woo!
So easy. I love it. Look, it's me.
It is you. You're so cute.
I have pigtails today. I was inspired by the video game playthrough that I sent you. I actually went and watched some of it just so I could refamiliarize myself with the game again.
Right.
And I had pigtails. And I was like, oh, I want to wear pigtails again. I was like, oh, I'm 36. I'm going to put on pigtails. All right. So first in the nerdy news, guys, Spider-Man No Way Home is back in theaters with 11 minutes of extra footage. So if you missed seeing it, and you haven't seen, I didn't put up the poster that they released after that has all the spoilers of all the characters in it. So if you have been fortunate enough to not see it and not have spoilers given to you, then you can go and see it with the 11 minutes of extra footage. Joe says, I absolutely love the Alchemist Saber. I bought that at Toy Fusion last Sunday. Thank you guys.
Well,
Nice.
thank you so much, Joe. And we will be there the last Sunday of every month. That's going to be our new Sacramento home bases at
Nice.
that
Nice,
Toy
nice.
Fusion. So you will be able to find us there every last Sunday. And I want to thank you so much. And obviously, you are subscribed. In fact, the winner of the Saber last week, because we hit our goal, was somebody I
Mhm.
had just met that day at the Toy
Yeah,
Fusion Con.
that was
So
really cool. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, or if you want to see it again with the extra footage, it is out in theaters now. I could not find a date for when it won't be in theaters, but usually, it's like when most movies come out, it's like a few weeks at least.
Right.
So,
What an
um,
interesting move. I wonder what the bigger thought on the studio is. I mean, obviously that was a popular movie, but is it
I
popular enough
don't
to have
really,
people go
yeah.
back?
Like when I saw someone in the New Rockstars Discord say that they went, they said it was like a half-filled theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty decent for a movie that had already come out and just had 11 minutes of footage.
Right.
I'm not sure if I'll pay the extra just to see those 11 minutes. I did see like a thumbnail showing who was in it. Aaron said, weird, they should just stream it or have it on Blu-ray or 4K with the extra
Right.
footage. Yeah,
Usually
I
that's
mean,
like extra
that's the
footage that you
normal.
get.
That's the usual thing that people do. But
Right.
for
I
some
hope this
reason
doesn't
they
become the new trend where they're going to start
oh, I
making
hope
you.
not. I'd rather okay. I miss those days of the DVDs or Blu-rays, they had the extra features. And one of my favorite things that they used to have, which I think they got rid of when they just got, when they really stopped, when digital was the main way to go, was
Mhm.
commentaries
Right. Like
by
director
the
commentaries.
actors.
Right.
Director and actor commentaries. I really enjoyed those, and I don't think they do them anymore. I
Right.
don't think they were necessarily popular for most people. I loved them.
Right.
So, anyway, all right. So next in the news, well, if I hit the correct button, it'd be great. Star Wars D23 exclusives. So
Ooh.
D23 is this weekend.
Ooh. Wait.
If you would
This.
like
Wait. Wait.
to
Wait. Wait. Wait.
see,
Wait. 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 This
yes,
weekend meaning the weekend coming up? Because
yes, the
today's
weekend coming
Sunday.
up. It's
Okay.
this weekend coming up.
Okay.
From like the 9th to the 11th, I think, or something like that. I can't remember exactly the dates, but I think it said it started the 9th or it ended the 9th. Whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, so it's this in this coming few days. If you would like to see what is there, that is a Star Wars exclusive for D23, there is a link down below to let you see all of the different things that they'll be having there, and it looked really cool. I'll take a look at the article.
Hey, Mez, can
Um,
you explain to people who may not know what D23 is?
it's from what I gather, it's like the big Disney convention,
Uh,
but
I don't know if it's more. It's D23 is the shareholders meeting.
okay. Oh,
And
right.
because it's the
Thank
shareholders,
you.
that's where a lot of times they'll release new shows that are coming out. So we
Yeah,
just had this
yeah.
summer. We just had the Disney. When they showed all the new Marvel stuff and all that.
A Hall H at Comic Con.
Right. And so
Yeah,
that
so
was
this is the Disney
actually.
version of that. Yeah.
Right. And so that was actually one of the theories was when they were showing all the Marvel releases, there was a lot of holes left in the line, particularly for 2024. And they feel like a lot of people have said, well, they're leaving that for D23 because the investors want to know that they've got,
Yeah,
big name
and
projects coming on board.
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Right. I'm
So
excited. That watch looks ill.
yeah, and for those who want to see the Star Wars D23 exclusive things early, or if you're not unable to go, you can check it out at the link below. Yeah, so that is
Say
their nerdy
Wong.
news for today. Hey, Say
What is up, Say Wong?
Wong.
I did not see Say Wong at SAC Anime. You know what? I was amazed, like, how many people were at SAC Anime. Not just the people that were there, but, like, when I look on Facebook, I was like, oh my god, I know all of these people. I didn't see any of them at the because there was just
Uh,
so many people there.
yeah, so
But yeah, a
many
lot of
people.
people, Say Wong being one of them. I love seeing all the photos. Kevin Hogan was there. I didn't run into Kevin at all. How do you miss Kevin Hogan?
The only, you know what, when it comes to, for those who appear in our show both Fridays and Sundays, Friday our After Dark 18 plus, 8 p.m. Pacific. The only people I've actually met aside from you are V and David.
Right.
Everybody else I have not actually met, and I met them once.
See,
like,
and I had
last
free
May.
tickets. Oh, your poor son.
I know. If he had not had that surgery, I would have gone to SAC Anime.
Right.
Like, I told my husband about it like later. I was like, "Hey, this is such a bummer, but like we almost could have gone to SAC Anime." He goes, "Oh, that would have been so much fun." I was like, "Yeah, but Luke, like my son,
Right.
Like he looks like just one side, because it was only one side. It was the side that was worked on him, and
Looks
it's
like he
all
got
like
punched
puffy.
in the face by Mike Tyson.
It does, but like no bruising. It's just swelling.
Right. Oh.
Anyways, my poor baby. All right, so every week we have our lovely James Kaiser, producer of the Flow Artist. He finds us an artist to feature every week that's different kind of visual.
Okay, so first off, I wanted to say something about this. This is typically the segment is called Flow of the Show, right?
Yes.
And I remember seeing a similar different artist, and I messaged James and I was like, hey, is this considered flow? Because to me, flow is indicative of movement, the constant movement, right? So what you're about to see, I guess, is not technically in the flow community, but I just think it's absolutely amazing.
It's visually stunning. So to me, when I hear flow, sure, movement, flow.
What's up, Ian?
Hi, Ian. Sure, flow, movement, but sometimes visual, being visually stunning is also something I include in that.
Right.
So without further ado, James Kaiser, thank you so much for supplying this. This is by Smokin' Hot Productions, Pixel Sire Wheel.
Pixel Sire Wheel.
I think I said that right. That was pretty cool. The Google thing?
Yeah, that was
really neat.
Okay, so the first one, the video that I had sent to James was this guy that was dressed up like Neo from The Matrix, and he was doing the spinning.
I think I've seen that one.
Right, but it didn't have all those lights and cool effects. Yeah,
the coordinated programmed lights with what he's wearing too.
Oh yeah, I want one.
That was pretty epic.
I want one for my birthday or Christmas or whatever.
Every time I see those rings, those wheels, I want to spin in one, but I also no, I can't. Even if, I know I shouldn't. No, Matt. So you're gonna hurt yourself. Thank you, James Kaiser, for providing that to us.
I've never seen one with spinning lights like that. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also, don't forget to check out CyberCave.com with all the coolest merch and sabers you'll find.
Woo-hoo.
All right, and so we have a guest.
We do have a guest. Pardon me, I got the hiccups. I am excited about this guest. This is someone that I just met a couple of weeks ago online. I was looking for other people in the California area because a lot of times it's difficult to find different saber companies. So at any rate, I met this gentleman. He owns a company called West Coast Saber Installers, and I was actually looking for an installer, but he's actually so much more than just an installer. So with no further ado, please give it up for Mr. Trevor Brown. Hello, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Life is beautiful. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Brown?
Really good. Happy to be here.
Well, we are excited that you took us on and decided to come do an interview with us. Tell me something about West Coast Saber Installers. How long you guys been around? Like I was saying in the intro, you guys are so much more than just installs, right?
Yeah, leather wrapping, some slight modifications. I've done custom paint jobs. We first got started in this back in 2015. My youngest daughter and I, who by the way is pregnant, we're expecting our second grandchild in February.
Woohoo!
So we bought our first lightsabers together, and we were pretty impressed with them from one of the bigger companies.
Mhm.
But over time and over use, mine had broken on the inside, and I'd taken minor soldering course in high school and all that, and I was working as an apprentice electrician at the time, so I figured out, how hard could it be?
Right,
Don't
right.
don't don't let that fool you. Uh, Working on a power box is one thing. Trying to solder something on something the size of a pinhead is something else. So it was born out of necessity because I checked into how much it was going to cost to send it back for the install, and
Right.
for the 30 seconds for the repair, it would have, it was going to cost me another $60 just to send it back down and then have it sent back to me again for another charge. So I
Right.
pulled it apart.
And more than likely it would have taken about 3 to 6 months to get it back.
Yeah, probably. So I ripped it apart. I saw what the issue was. It was a pretty easy fix. So I fixed it up. I kind of modified it a little bit, and I just posted it up on one of the pages. I was still relatively new at that time, and somebody offered to buy it off me, and I was like, "Whoa,
Wow.
okay, well." So one thing led to another. I sold him a lightsaber and ended up buying another two. So basically, my company, unlike other companies where guys have had bigger bankrolls or maxing out their credit cards to get all this stock, I can honestly say we literally built this company from one lightsaber.
Wow.
We started off with one lightsaber and it was a repair. We sold it online, and we've just started slowly going from there. Um, but there's been a lot of trials and tribulations along the way. There's lots of people that have helped out just with advice. Shout out to Johnny Collado of Dark Wolf Custom Saber.
Woohoo!
He's I consider one of my mentors. Johnny's helped me out a lot. Also, a Robert Sotomayor of Ciroc Sabers, another
Right.
one that I consider a mentor. Just helping me out with easier way for just wire placement, wire management, do's and don'ts. Because I've done everything from fried boards to just completely ripped and melted speakers apart in the very beginning.
Right.
So it's been a bit of a slow go, but we're slowly getting there. I can say that when COVID hit, that almost completely wiped us out.
Wow.
Not due to COVID itself, but because both my wife and I were in the hotel industry, and you know how that went. We basically everybody lost their jobs. But at
Right.
that point, we were making so much we didn't qualify for like any government assistance help. So any money that we had saved up and built up over time through West Coast Sabers basically had to get drained just to keep us, bills afloat,
Right.
uh, just get everything paid. And I had to take a job out of town. I wasn't working on Sabers, so it was looking pretty bleak there. And then things changed a while back, and I was able to get a job back in town. A lot of the restrictions broke. It was easier to get parts, so that was another challenge at that
Right.
point. Was just everything, like depending on where it came from, it sat on a dock for weeks and weeks until it could get inspected. So
Right.
promises that you've made to people, you have to go back and explain to them, like, look, it's being held up in shipping. It's just everything's in quarantine. So we got through that, and we're kind of slowly rebuilding right now. Just we got our Facebook site up not I don't know, about a month ago, maybe about a month and a half ago,
Right.
and we're just getting into the full swing of things. Like, it's to the point where I have lightsabers of my own that I can't even work on personally
Right.
because I've got to get that sent out. Like, I've got Clint Morrison of Solid Sabers in London, Ontario, making me my own personal Rom Koda lightsaber. I just
Wow.
I just don't have, like, I'll do the install and all that on it, but I don't have the time or the space right now just to get all the machinery. So it's the community's pretty tight. Like, it's like you always have your bad apples in there, but for the most part, everybody watches out for one another here.
Right, right. Now, what I like about you, or one of the things that interested in me in your company, was you almost seem like a one-stop shop for sabers. You are a distributor as well, right? You not only work on sabers, but you sell sabers as well, correct?
Yeah, unlike we haven't partnered with, but we're working with LGT Sabers Studios.
Uh huh.
Um, and again, that's through not
Dark Wolf.
through Johnny Collado, but he does have a lot to do with Saber Studios. I
Right.
actually I came in a roundabout way and kind of surprised Johnny when I showed up working with them. And yeah, we support LGT Sabers. The products are phenomenal. There's all kinds of tiers, right from your basic RGBX right up to the complicated Profi boards.
Right, right. Now you okay? So let me understand. Did you own a hotel, or did you and your wife work at hotels?
No, no, we worked at hotels. I was maintenance manager at the Hyatt,
Okay,
and my wife was travel agent.
okay, okay.
So yeah, we both worked in the hospitality industry, and when COVID hit, it was just a nightmare.
Right. Now I noticed with a lot of companies, for example, Ing Sabers is known to do beautiful etching. You got Fox Drummer who does beautiful powder coating. A
Yeah.
lot of different companies seem to kind of specialize in one aspect, but you've decided to take it all on. Does that make it difficult for you?
Uh, well, I haven't taken it all on. Like, there's there's guys like Pete Sandoval that does just phenomenal etching. I couldn't even begin to hope to come close to what some of these guys do.
Right.
Um, and there's a lot of guys that they'll do these Metal Master, just phenomenal, gorgeous floating chassis and rotating crystals, and that that even blows me away.
Right.
Um, I've noticed that for the most part, it's people have their lanes, and it's like kind of like you have your etchers, you have your installers, you have your fabricators, you have some that can do a little bit of everything. I like to dabble in a little bit of everything.
Right.
Um, if there's something that I can't do or provide for one of my customers, I'll let them know that right away, and I'll reach out to one of the gentlemen that I've mentioned that would be able to do some of that work,
Right.
and we kind of all help each other out in that way. Like, hey, look, yeah, I need this milling done, or I can't get to this, could I send this to you and then get it back to me? And so for the most part, yeah, it's pretty good. Most people, they just uh, I guess, like, stay in their lanes. Like me, for the longest time, all I did was just the really basic nano. When we first started out, was the basic nano biscotti board install upgrades
Right.
for Ultra Saber. People sending me their Ultra Sabers and Saber Forges.
Right.
We still do pretty much that. I find that a lot of my customers are, for whatever reason, younger based.
Hmm.
I get a lot of the more teens and preteens
Right.
that seem to hit my site, where the other guys that I mentioned would be people like us that stumble onto their sites that we need to have our installs done.
Right. Right. Right.
But there's a lot of vendors out there that just do sales that actually don't work on the lightsabers. So
Right, right,
they would just send it back to the manufacturer, and there's your 3 to 6 to possibly even 8 weeks before you get anything back.
right.
Here, for the most part, the proffies I try and tend to stay away from. We would probably send those ones out, but for everything else, yeah, we don't have a problem working on those.
Right. Hey, really quickly, I want to let you know you got a shout out from Dalton Bergman. And Aaron over, AKA Forza Effects, one of our friends that we love affectionately, is giving you a shout out as well.
Hey,
Obviously,
Aaron,
people.
yeah, from Fords, yeah, there's some, yeah, crazy sound fonts coming out of there. That's there's another one of the giants out there that, and I really appreciate that shout out. Thanks a lot.
So it sounds like you do a little bit of collaborating. So if something's kind of outside of your zone, you'll send it off to somebody that you know that's more specialized in that. It sounds like. Oh,
Uh,
Annie says hello to. Way to go, Trev. Says Annie Brown. Yeah.
I believe that would have been my daughter. Um, yeah, actually, I've collaborated a couple times with Jeremy Moon of Moon's Customs Armory in Calgary, Alberta. He's made me up a couple shrouds. I come up with a, a crazy little pencil drawing or sketch,
Mm,
and he deciphers what and I couple rambling messages, and he's banged out a couple of pretty neat shrouds for me. He did one that was a bone shroud on a Bane
mm,
lightsaber that is, yeah, it looked like an aged crate dragon bone on the end of it. So it's
nice.
the customer was super happy. And another one he did for me was we modified an Ultra Sabers. He did the leather work for me, and did basically like a Cal Kestis type
Ooh.
shroud for it.
Right, right, right.
And he's one of the guys that if I ever need some like really crazy gritty shroud work done, he's the guy I'm going to go to. Jeremy's never let me down. I've been stuck for parts before, and he's just reached out and, hey man, I just sent something to you in the mail, and I was like, oh well, that's really cool. And then he like a couple extra sound fonts on there that I never asked for that I could put onto the customer sabers. So
Right,
yeah, it's a pretty good community.
right.
And there's you can pretty much reach out to any one of these guys because they're posting a lot, so you get to see what their work schedules are and know if they've got room, and you can always just private message them
Right.
and see if they've got room for a commission.
Right, right, right. Now, where exactly are you in LA? Are you in Southern California?
No, I'm actually in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, you're good. Good Lord, I thought you were in California. See, this shows you how much I know.
No,
Right,
no, we're in supernatural British Columbia.
right, right. And what's the saber market like up there? I know you do have. I mean, you have several companies. Electrum Sabercraft is out of Canada.
Yep, they're
You
out of Edmonton. Yep.
right. You've mentioned several installers and things like that. Would you say the saber community is probably just as popular up there, or maybe even more so? Do you have problems getting things from the states necessarily, or?
Um, it's growing up here. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interest up here.
Mhm.
Um, there's depending on the day, especially now with all these these new gas levies and stuff. It makes everything just so much more expensive coming across the border,
Right.
and depending on the border agent, you might get dinged with a border fee too.
Right, right, right. Are
Anywhere
you
from like $18 to like an extra $27 that you weren't planning on. So it's just like it's another hit we just took.
right, right, right? For the most part, are you able to source your material there in Canada, or do you have to get stuff from all over the world?
Oh no, all over the place.
Right.
Basically all over the place. Like we source our Golden Harvest soundboards directly from Germany, right from SaberTech.
Mm.
We'll get parts from China. We'll get parts for it depending on what the customer wants, really.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, for the most part, like I said, we've done mainly Ultra Saber and Saber Forge upgrades.
Right.
So they're one of them breaks, and they just basically, for whatever reason, I happen to be the guy. Hey, well, this is the guy that he fixes them. So, and I kind of just took that lane over, and we were happy with that. We're just a small little home based company. I just work out of my home.
When you say we, how many people are there?
Oh, it's just me and my wife. She's just an admin on the page, and basically she just keeps me in an even keel. Like, if I'll be up in the shop and I'll be, have you eaten yet? Have you oh, thank you. So it's definitely a team effort.
Right.
Because without her, I'd probably be slumped over my desk sometimes.
Right. Right. Now, let me ask you: is it hard for you as a company, or maybe this is something that doesn't even really doesn't come into play, but is it hard for you to market yourself when you do so many things, right? You might have people that are coming to you because they want an LGT Saber, but then you're going to have a whole different base of people that are coming to you because they want custom weathering done, or want some leather work wrap done. Do you find it difficult to kind of let people know you do all these things, or do you kind of find yourself in batches where, for the last 4 months I've been doing installs, and then all of a sudden it's all these orders that are coming in through online?
Yeah, pretty much the latter. That's how it goes. It ebbs and flows a lot. The market is kind of slow right now. I would say that's yeah. There's a saturation that's happening right now. So it's the excitement and interest level always drums up when there's a new show that comes out, or a new
Right.
movie that's just like the Kenobi series. When it dropped, it was like Vader's and Obi-Wan Kenobi's. That's all anybody wanted, and it had to be the
Right.
exact Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? So, and that's fine. Um, yeah, sometimes it is a little hard because trying to get everything on, like, we're looking at getting basically we're gonna have to go to a website. Like, it's getting to the point where the Facebook site's just getting too small.
Hmm.
So now it's and try to get all that information just under the Facebook website, and have everybody be able to know where everything is on there
Right.
is can be a bit of a nightmare. And with it, they just changed all the way the pages look now. So I'm trying to get used to how that's working. I keep switching in between both my profiles right now every time I pick up my phone. So it's yeah, sometimes the challenge is hard there, because they're like, oh, we were kind of hoping for leather wrap, and I was like, oh, I forgot to mention that. And it's
Right.
yeah, we can do that as well too. So we're in the process of getting a website together that can offer all the services that we can provide. So it's like you can just click on it. It was like, do you want weathering, or like
Right.
basically an extras and modifications section, and they'll be like, oh, they do this as well too. So
Right.
it's getting to that point that, yeah, it's a necessity. So
Right.
it's
Hey,
growing pretty fast here.
you're getting love here from Moon's Custom Armory.
There's
It's
Jeremy.
yeah. Hey, so now I find it very interesting because you were talking about how people kind of take up lanes, right? This guy is really known for his installs. This guy is known for his etching. But you're in this really weird, unique area because, and I'll put it this way, right? People that are more advanced, or more knowledgeable in the saber industry, a lot of times they'll buy empties and then send it off to get installed. But
Mhm.
brand new people, maybe a mom that wants to just have a good time with her kid in the backyard, they don't want to deal with all that. They just want a saber that can, have some cool bells and whistles, and they can go in the backyard. But you are catering, it sounds like, to many different levels of customers. And I say that because I know, like, with where we are a TXQ distributor, but we don't do things like etching. We don't do things like custom paint jobs. If my customer wants that, I'll definitely send them in a different direction. But I kind of know my place. You know what I mean? I will never be a Vader's Vault. I'll never, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I am really fit for more of the entry level saber people, the people that are
yeah.
just getting into it and don't want to spend $700 on an install. They just want, something for $100 they can go have fun with their friends.
And honestly, that's kind of why we started working with LGT. It's because those $700 and up installs, those are hard sells.
Right.
Those are, you can't always, you don't always want to give your 13-year-old kid, here's the credit card. What did you just buy? Well, I just bought an $1,100, Luke Skywalker, and then not knowing what they bought and goes drilling out on it and snaps
Right.
it. So it's we actually started doing this as a more affordable option because oh, Dad just got a cool lightsaber, but what can you do for my son? And it's just like, oh, you're kind of limited so much when you start doing custom builds.
Right.
So it just, like I said, it kind of just by dumb stupid luck we ended up stumbling on this, and then I'm finding out that a person I've been dealing with, Johnny Collado, actually had a lot to do with LGT Sabers, and I was just like, wow, okay, well,
Right.
that's pretty crazy. So yeah, we started offering these as a more affordable solution for yeah, sure, dads can do all this, well, so can the kids, pretty close to it.
Right.
So, and I think that's kind of how we got, like I said, a lot of my market is just like younglings and Padawans, right? Like I get a lot of teens and a lot of kids. They see a lightsaber and they just freak out. So they tell all their friends, and that's kind of just where my path is staying right now.
Right.
Is just like I'll do other installs and all that. But like I'm not into doing the big Metal Master chassis, and I'll leave that to the other guys. That's I'm just a little fish in a big pond of all those guys that are far my superior. Like I just blown away with what they could do. So yeah, we just offer these as we started doing these as a more affordable solution
Right.
for combat lightsabers.
Right.
Because I just and we're not in it for the money. Like when we do, I'll get orders that I will personally order here to my house and my shop, and I'll keep those on hand because I know there's a lot of people that want to get into these, but they just can't afford like the initial $500, $600, $700. So what we do is we've reached out many times to a lot of our customers. Like, don't worry about it. This is what we have on hand. We'll do a payment plan, whatever's comfortable for you.
Right.
There's no rush. We won't bug you or anything. Is once you put a down payment on that saber's yours. Take as long as you want to pay for it. All we want to do is make sure that you get the lightsaber that you want. I don't need your money right away. So. And a lot of people are actually pretty appreciative of that.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, I wanted to get my son this and this. Well, that just happens. I have one of those on hand. Let's work on a payment plan. I've got no problem doing that.
Right.
I just want to, for me, I love watching the reactions. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're a 5-year-old, if you're a 90-year-old. I used to open carry lightsabers, and one of the best reactions that I ever had is I was in a local grocery store, and I had my lightsaber on my hip, and I heard from behind me, Dad, I think he's a Jedi. So I kind of smiled to myself, and I was like, it's cute. So I turn around, and there's this little Cindy Lou Who looking, 2 little blonde pigtails in her eyes. They're as big as dinner plates, and I just look at her and I wink and I just go shh. And I told her I was on a secret mission. Well, she goes running up to her dad, and Daddy's on a secret mission. He looked at me and he mouthed thank you, and then I was like, not a problem. So I come on over, and as soon as I handed him the lightsaber, his eyes got just as big. So you could see it took him back to the first time that Star Wars was magical for him. And that's what I love, and that's why I like keeping lightsabers here on hand,
right? So
that I have the ability to. Yeah, I've got no problem doing a payment plan. I don't care if it's $135 saber or a $90 saber. You won't need to do a payment plan on it. That's no sweat. We will help you get your lightsaber.
Right. I tell people all the time the reason I started selling sabers is I don't care if you're 97 or 47 or 17. Everybody turns into a 7-year-old when they put it. Especially if you've got not a stunt saber but something with sound in it. Something about that buzz. Just everybody turns into a kid again.
Oh yeah.
And even if they're not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got a couple converts at my day job. I brought a Xenopixel Neopixel lightsaber, and everybody just right then and there lost their minds. You see, a bunch of grown adults turn into, it's the Lost Boys.
Right. Right,
Peter
right.
Pan and the Lost Boys. So it's kind of neat to watch. It's for me. I like watching that little spark, even for just a moment. You see it.
Right, exactly. Saber Paul, what is up? And I also want to say shout out to Bat Mike as well. Let me ask you. Well, first off, just so I don't forget, I want to get back to you. I've always had the question of what is the difference between a Xenopixel and a regular NeoPixel. But before we go into that, I want to ask you, where do you think the future of sabers are going? When we first opened Kyber Cave 4 years ago, NeoPixel was kind of like the hot new thing and everybody was trying to do it, but it was so expensive. The blades weren't quite to the point yet where people could duel with them. But now, well, first, do you still think there's a relevance for RGB, or do you think eventually everything's going to go NeoPixel? Or what are your thoughts?
There is still a relevance for in-hilt and RGB. There's like you get a lot of uh these guys that do their fan films that they don't want the soundboards and all that in there,
Right.
so there's always going to be room for that. Something to like I've done a little Ultra Sabers that I had that I just threw a light in, $50, here you go, just for a little kid to beat around. But yeah,
Right.
the everything's starting to slowly lean. Everybody wants more the NeoPixel effects, and um, because it's all the cool blade animation stuff. You can get the flame blade, you can get the
Right.
rainbow blade, and everybody likes all the cool effects. Especially with the new boards, you can get like the sound and music files that go with it.
Right.
So you
See,
could have John Williams playing some of his greatest hits for you while you're swinging your lightsaber.
right. Now, Saber Paul says dueling will always make room for RGB. Do you
Yeah,
think that's the case,
absolutely.
or do you think that
No,
NeoPixel is going to evolve to the point where everybody's using NeoPixel to battle?
no, I agree with Paul. There's always going to be room for the RGB, because there's always, you have anywhere from your light choreographed tapping back and forth to right up to the guys where I'm not going to say swinging for the fences, but they're dueling and
Right.
you do not want to take $100 plus blade and
Right.
start smacking it around, where basically, because over time, no matter how well it's installed or how well it's made, those jarring impacts, the electronics are eventually going to come loose.
Right.
It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Right. 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 Right.
So, and that's why buying quality helps. But no, I agree with Paul. There's always going to be room for the RGBX or dedicated color in hilt. Um, it is getting a little smaller because everybody's uh, got the NeoPixel craze. But
Right.
once they figure out that you can duel with them, but yeah, I'd still be a little careful. There's
Right.
yeah,
I know.
I believe there'll always be room for the
Right.
RGBX.
I want to say what's up, Raphael. Thank you for hanging out with me at SAC Anime yesterday, or letting me ride with you actually. Um, yeah, I personally myself, when I am, we used to have a dojo before we had this shop. We had a dojo. I prefer to stunt saber. I like my saber as simple as possible, just light up. That's it. I kind of have different, like, if I'm dueling or maybe doing a choreograph thing, the RGBs are really nice. If I'm doing cosplay where I just kind of want to show off and maybe just kind of light dueling, very, just kind of tapping, that's when the Neo pixels come out.
Yeah,
But I know
exactly.
definitely personally, I have a saber for every category. I have two for battling, light and heavy battle, one for flow, one for cosplay.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a couple Ultra Saber bashers that I've got, and that's literally what they are. They're just for swinging for the fences. Let's test some blades. Like I don't care what happens to it. Right up to, I have some, what are we like to call, I'm sure the shelf queens.
Right,
But yeah,
right, right, right.
it's real pretty and blinky. It's yeah, it can do everything that you want it to do, but kind of like a thin neck. You want to be really careful with swinging one of those around. So yeah, no, I definitely like to. I have a couple different categories of sabers for sure as well, and I'm sure a
Right.
lot of people do as well. Like you'll find that out really quick. You go bashing your electronics around, or snap a tip off a NeoPixel blade. Uh, you'll find out that the in-hilt go pick yourself up a $30 polycarbonate blade. It's a little more economical when you want to, do that heavy grinding duel. You
Right.
want to reenact Obi-Wan and Anakin beating the heck out of each other. You
Right.
go right ahead. You're not worried about it.
Right. Now, do you personally go to cons, or is everything done kind of through the internet?
Mostly through the internet. We were gonna go to our Kelowna Fan Expo this year. It's just unfortunately um, the timing with being able to get enough stock in. That would have been we could have went, and I probably would have sold out in the first day. Then I would have just been sitting there for 2 days.
Right.
So it was basically just a miscalculation on my part for getting enough stock in. We've been to Kelowna Fan Expo before, that we had great success there. We're definitely going back next year, and we're looking at hitting a lot of the basically doing the circuit here in like the Lower Mainland, and in possibly doing Vancouver Comic Con. We've reached out to them, and they've sent us some information. So we'll see where we're sitting for uh, next year for those guys. But we're definitely going to be hitting Kelowna Fan Expo and Vernon Comic Con.
Right. Wonderful. I know for me that's where we seem to have the most successes, when we can actually get out there amongst the people.
Yeah,
Now,
do the demonstrations and
right. I want to go back and ask you. I had dropped that little bit of a question before I went into the other one, but I wanted to ask you, what is the difference between a Xenopixel and a regular NeoPixel and or an RGB?
well, okay, well those are a couple different questions there. The RGB, if you're referring to the in-hilt LED, that's just the LED module that sits in the hilt, and it can, it's got multicolor changing functions. A bit of a joke. The difference between a Xenopixel and a NeoPixel is about $150. Um, Xenopixel is basically like entry level NeoPixel,
Okay.
a little bit better than entry level. It can pretty much do all the same features as like a Golden Harvest or a Profi or a Crystal Focus 10, but and just on a limited scale. Whereas the other three boards that I mentioned, you can get right into the blade style and animation editor and create your own blade styles and like get really in depth
Right.
with creating your basically your own unique look. Whereas
Right.
Xenopixel, it's preset, and
Okay.
that's what you have to work with.
Okay. It sounds
Um,
very similar. At our company, I work with TXQ, which is a competitor of LGT. We have something called an SN Pixel. And that one, it's like a NeoPixel, except for there are set things in there you cannot change. You can't go in and upload your own font or change the styles. You can only choose what they have already predetermined on there.
yeah, you can go in and you can add fonts and change
Oh,
your
wow.
fonts up in the Xenopixel. What you can't do though is, like I said, is mess around with the blade styles or animations. Those are already all preset.
Oh, wow. That's absolutely amazing. So, what do you see as kind of like in the next few years, as you're kind of courting, setting out your plan for West Coast installation, Saber installations? What do you see in the next few years? Are you going to try to do more of the kind of the family LGT thing? Are you going to try to do more of the high end installing or the weathering, or do you want to
We're
just
just
kind of keep growing it all?
just growing it
Do
all of it.
you
I would like to be honestly be able to retire, to walk away from my day job and do this as a full-time gig.
Woohoo!
That would be the dream.
This
So
the
it would
dream of every
be
sabersmith.
yeah, that's that would be, and the way I look at it is, hey, is if other guys can do it, as long as um You stay honest, and that we had a bit of a run here for a while there, a couple years back, and there's a couple big names there that was in the saber industry that became a disappointment. That communication became lacking, took the money and run.
Right.
And it's good to see that that's very rare these
Right.
days, because the community was really banded together to like really put a stop to that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, we're just gonna just keep growing as much, going in every direction as we can possibly. Maybe we will get into those metal master chassis builds, and when I have a little more time to focus on that, because those are so time consuming.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, I would. I'd like to stick my hand into just a little bit of everything.
Right.
Maybe jack of all trades, maybe master of none type of thing.
Now, when it
Uh,
comes to your personal collection, your collection of sabers, are you a Canon saber man, or do you like unusual looking sabers? What do you like?
um, I like my Canon sabers, but I also like lightsabers that most people would you wouldn't even know, or like, unless you've played a video game or read the comics or gotten into the EU, because a lot of people, for Star Wars, for them is what they've seen in the movies.
Right. 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 Right.
Like I said, I've got most people won't even know who General Rom Koda is.
Right. Right.
Like
Right. Right.
the lightsaber I'm having made for me by Clint Morrison there. Most of them wouldn't even know that he's the original Blind Jedi. Sorry, Kanan. No offense,
Right.
we love Kanan, we love you, Freddie Prince, but sorry, Rom Code is the original Blind Jedi.
Right.
Um, I also like from Knights of the Old Republic, Venzalo lightsaber. Most people have never even heard of Jedi Master Venzalo.
Right. Right. Right.
So I kind of I like my like right here, my hero Luke.
Woohoo. Right.
I love my hero hilts. I like my cannon hilts, but I also like hilts that people have to ask, whose is that?
Right.
So it's um I just like lightsabers really. But I'm not picky. Um as long as as long as I can have fun with it, and you can feel that spark of magic for me, it could be one of those sync tube lightsabers, and I'd be just as happy.
Right, all right. So I want to ask you one more question, and then we're going to go ahead and get to the wrap up here. But sometimes, especially I've noticed in the last few years in the Saber community, I don't want to mention any names or anything like that, but you'll see it on some of the Facebook boards and stuff. There seems to be kind of almost this backlash from some of the, let's say, American Saber companies to the Chinese Saber companies, and they'll talk down about them. But I find the quality to be equal and the value to actually be a lot better in many cases because they're able to get the bells and whistles for a much cheaper price. What do you think? Do you think the Chinese sabers are just as good as the American? Do you think there's anything to that? Is it just one group hating on another group?
Oh, that's yeah, I agree with that. For the longest time, there was a very elitist like mentality.
Right.
But we had guys like Robert Sotomayor. That's why he created a page on Facebook that you could go there, no matter make, brand, model. It didn't matter who made it. Like, it could be your 3D printed one. It didn't matter. Go to this page. You could showcase it. No shaming.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, yeah, but I do get what you were saying there. There was the competition for the little bit there. For a while there, yeah, the Asian sabers, it was just the material of the metal
Right.
was they weren't they were using a more porous metal, so there and thinner thread counts on their threading, so there was breakage happening, and it was um, uh, kind of commonplace. But in the last 2-3 years, they've really stepped up their games. Like,
Right.
some of these this is like some of these hilts they're crazy. Like you look at some of the bigger names, and then you look at some of these, and you're like, well, wow.
Right.
Okay.
I can tell you with LGT, and LGT is a competitor of ours. We used to sell LGT, but we are exclusive with TXQ right now. I can tell you what I like about LGT is they have so much variety. I mean, they even have a Sailor Moon saber.
Yep. Oh
Um,
yeah.
there's so much variety with the LGT product.
And that's the thing is, yeah, it's on my page. I think I've literally maybe hit 2/10 of what I could actually put on there. It's just
Right.
there's so much. Like, and with the adaptive saber parts that they have as well too, so you can basically create any type of saber that out of, from the existing parts there that you can picture.
Right. 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 Well, Trevor, we're gonna get ready and wrap up here. Is there anything you want your fans or your customers to know or to think about, or do you want to leave people with the thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported us. Uh, Getting here, it's been a bit of a long road, but we're doing it. Starting to live the dream, and like I said, shout out to all the guys that I consider my mentors: Clint Morrison, Robert
Woo!
Sotomayor, Jeremy Moon for helping me with shroud work and all that, and of course the big wolf Johnny Collado. I can't not mention him.
Wolf Pack.
Yeah, wolf pack in the house for sure, baby. Um, and just a big thank you to the Saber community. We do have new Saber in the pipe coming down the pipeline. It's about 2-3 months out. They're still working on a few things. That's all I can say about that right now. But it's the customers, they're going to be pretty happy about this one. This is a pretty special Saber. So once we can get the okay to reveal what it is, we'll put it up on our site right away, and I'm
Ooh.
sure they're going to go pretty quick.
Oh, I'm definitely excited. Make sure if you would like to find out more information, we're going to have information down below in our comment section on how you can get a hold of West Coast Saber Installations, correct? West Coast
Perfect.
Saber. Yes,
You
sorry.
got it.
I blame this on Mezzo. She's got me all messed up now because she couldn't get it. And Lisa Brown says, great job. Thank you so much, Trevor. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you tonight, and I wish you
It's been an
nothing but
absolute pleasure
success.
being here. Well, thank
Well,
you, sir. It's been a pleasure being here.
thank you so much, and we'll catch you. We'll catch you next time,
Absolutely. May the force be with you.
and also with you. All right, Meso.
Hi.
Dude, it's so crazy, like interviewing all these other Saber companies, and I'm watching like that end outro, and I'm like, ooh, I want that one, and I want that.
Ooh,
And
I
then I'm
want
like,
that one.
wait a minute, I own a Saber company. Why am I like?
I'm laughing. I was laughing because when you were saying the stuff in the the description and below all the extra information, I'm like, and yeah, I can see you laughing at me. If those who don't know, like when I'm like responding, Van can see me down below when I'm not in the show, and I'm like,
Right, and you're all I apologize to Trevor if any of this came out during the interview, but I'm watching you and you got your saber and you're like,
oh, I was
you
playing
look like
with
you're all
my
posing in the
saber.
mirror and stuff, like you're getting ready for con, and I'm like cracking up.
I was taking pictures of myself with my saber.
But you're all, it was all,
And then when I go to turn off, it was like, please charge. There's no power. I was like, ah! And so it was like I turned it off at just the right time, and it's charging now next to me on my floor. Yeah, I'm like goofy. I'm like I'm trying to look all cool.
I was like, oh my god, you look so evil. It was that white reflection with the all dark behind you.
I had it as a white saber. Like I had the color as white.
Right.
So it made it even look I'm going to message you the picture that I just took.
You are such a nerd.
I am, but that's a great thing. If you get called a nerd, own it.
Right. I mean, especially since this is
that was a fun
nerd
interview.
That was a great interview, and especially like I said, I thought he was in Southern California. I was stupid.
You are not stupid. You just didn't know.
That's the point of the interviews, right? For us to learn about all these fantastic people.
Yes,
in the Saber
exactly. For those who don't know, next week we have our guest lined up. It is actually the director at a gaming studio called EQ Studios. They actually made one of my favorite games called The Paynes Creek Killings.
Right.
And I streamed it on my personal channel a couple of years ago. And they have a new one coming out next year called Scene Investigators, and they actually have a demo. So for those who would like to tune in next week, it was absolutely West Coast Saber Installations TLBrown. Thank you. I'm glad to have you on the show tonight.
Trevor's our new buddy.
Yay! So next we have Kevin's Comic-Con Adventures. As you know, we have Kevin Hogan, who is our resident convention connoisseur, is what we called him when he was on our show as a guest. He goes every week to conventions in the area. And
literally every single weekend, the man goes to at least one. And I've seen him up to 3 in a weekend.
And I'm just like, I'm that person that was like, we have that many conventions around us that often?
Right.
Like, I had no idea. Like, I literally thought the only thing that happened in this area was SAC Anime.
Right.
And I went to WonderCon one year in San Francisco. Like, I don't even know if that's happening still, but that was years ago. It was before I had kids. I saw Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway.
Wow.
And Brad Bird. I got to see the sneak peek footage of they played a few moments of Chronicles of Narnia before it came out, the first one.
Right.
And not all the effects were done, so there were still guys that had green screen pants on. So that was kind of entertaining. Okay, sorry. Back to the matter at hand.
The point of the matter is, in California, we are pretty much lucky as far if you're a con fan. I mean, there is literally more than one happening every single weekend. Winter, summer, spring, fall, fire, sleet, earthquake. We got it in California.
We got it. All right, guys. So Kevin Hogan, thank you very much. Without further ado, here is Kevin Hogan's Comic-Con Adventures.
Hello everyone, this is Kevin Hogan from Northern California with another episode of California Comic-Con Adventures. On the weekend of August 27th through 28th, 2022, Ohana Comic-Con visited a couple cities that weekend of both Visalia and Tracy in California there. They had all their vendor halls set up there with lots of cool souvenirs set up there, and we got to see lots of local friends come out in their cool costumes there. Got to see the Predator, Dr. Octopus, lots of Demon Slayers, and really cool costumes there. Their cosplay contest there is really fun. Ohana Comic-Con, as you know, visits a different city every weekend up and down the state of California, and they're very economical admission, so whenever they visit a city near you, definitely recommend going on and checking them out there. It's a really good time there, and they have lots of prizes in all their cosplay contests there. Also on Sunday, August the 28th was KinYubiCon. They'd taken a break the past few years for the COVID pandemic there. They finally returned to Union City there, and it was great fun there, getting to see the video game console set up there for everyone to play there, right next to the vendor hall there. We even got to see the 5th Gen Not Pokemon panel comedy group set up there doing their panel there. It was really awesome, getting to see all the jokes they're doing, all about cool stuff there. And also that same weekend there over in San Jose was Silicon with Adam Savage, the whole weekend of August 27th through the 28th there at the San Jose Convention Center there. We got to see celebrities like George Takei from Star Trek and Karen Gillan from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Jumanji reboot series there. There was a really big Marvel gathering going on there. I myself was walking around as Dr. Octopus there. There was a whole bunch of Marty McFlys walking around there, and there were a whole bunch of people in great cosplays. You can see them all over the place there. It was really fun. There was lots of colorful costumes. They really filled up the whole vendor hall there. It was a great time there. Even had a car on display there in the vendor hall. It was really awesome to see that there. And also, if you're interested in upcoming events there, on Monday, September the 5th, in Turlock, Ohana Comic-Con is going to be visiting Central California. And also on September the 8th, in Auburn, the fair is going to be going on the whole weekend of September the 8th through September the 11th there. And admission is included for the fair to the Ohana Comic-Con at that same fair there. So that'll be fun to go see that whole weekend there. And also in Sacramento at Fremont Park is the Poke Fun Fest on Saturday, September the 10th there. So that's a free event there. It's kind of a big festival going on for all things Pokemon going on, face painting, bounce houses and whatnot there. So anyone with a giant Pokemon inflatable Pikachu or whatnot, now's your time to shine. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the picks, and I'll see you out there at the next Comic-Con.
By the way, that just answered the question you asked me before the show. What time is that event?
I saw that. I was like, hey, there's the answer.
Kyber Cave will be at the Poke Fun event. I know that Sabers and Pokemon aren't a direct correlation, but, you know, a lot of times people like the same
nerd
things.
Stuff is nerd stuff, honey.
That's right.
I know not everybody likes it. Like, not many. Like, you can have someone who loves Marvel but doesn't care for Star Wars much, or vice versa, or loves both, or doesn't like either. But nerd stuff is nerd stuff. We can appreciate that other nerds like it. It doesn't necessarily have to be Star Wars related.
Right.
We'll have a lot of people there who like Star Wars. So thank you very much, Kevin Hogan.
Woo! Thank you, Kevin. Did you see that picture of the Godzilla? Did you see how freaking long that tail was?
Yes, I did. I was like, that was longer than my train at my wedding.
How many people did that Godzilla trip at that con?
Oh, I can't imagine. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, so before we close out our show, everyone, don't forget that on Fridays we have our After Dark show that is recommended 18 plus because of topics and adult language that children probably shouldn't be a part of.
Now on at 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m.
Now on at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Just to make it a little easier for our East Coasters joining in. Right. With this. And don't forget to tune in next week on Sunday night where we have our Saber Rattle episode 113.
Woohoo!
Which is crazy to think about. I actually can't remember exactly the number of when I joined.
I was gonna ask you that. But it was before 100. Way before.
It was before 100, definitely. 100 I wasn't able to be here for. It was when I was in Vegas.
Right.
And that was that. I had already planned it. But it was 90 something.
Right. I think
Maybe.
It was low 90s.
I'd have to look back at our YouTube page where we actually have where the thumbnails actually start. Where our thumbnails are. Anyway, so don't forget to tune in Friday nights to our show, and don't forget to like and subscribe, share this, because every 50 subscribers, we give away a free Saber. And once we reach 1,000, it'll be every 100. So help us get to 1,000.
Please.
I don't know why. I was like, yeah.
And it's really easy, too. If you go to our YouTube page, you can see the number of subscribers that we have. Mm-hmm. So if we start getting up to the next 50, so I think we're at like 650, or we're at 660 right now. So we need 40 more subscribers. Once we start getting around that 700 mark, that Sunday, once we hit the 700 mark, that Sunday on that show, we give out the Saber. So it's really easy to track when we're giving out the next Saber, and all you got to do is leave a comment, and you are entered in the drawing.
Yes. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Thank you, Trevor Brown from West Coast Saber Installations.
Yay!
I was like, oh no, I screwed him over. Dan isn't going to remember what it is. And thank you, Van, for a wonderful evening and a wonderful show. You guys have a beautiful week, and we will catch you on Friday with After Dark.
Adios.